back, one and all, to another episode of Crime and Coffee. My name's Mike.
My name's Allison.
Yeah, and we are a married duo that comes out with a weekly podcast talking about any kind of crime that we looked into that tickles our fancy, if you will.
Tickles our feet, tickles our fancy.
Yeah, tickles anything. Really, at this point in my life, I'm looking for any kind of tickle.
That's kind of creepy.
42 years old.
42-year-old that wants to be tickled.
Well, looking for that joy of childhood.
Yeah, no, that joy's gone.
Yeah.
The door is slammed on that. Last night, we are pet sitting 2 dogs, and then we had our son's friend sleep over. So it was just chaos in the house, and I think I went to bed mad because our son was acting like a little a-hole.
Yeah.
And then I was like laying in bed, and I'm like, I don't even know if I said goodnight to you.
No, you probably didn't. That's okay. Well, no, you said goodnight. I
hope so, because that's bad.
Yeah. I was doing my final little pieces and takes on the this case I'm going to present today, but I think you did. Yeah, I mean, our son, he was the reason I bring up tickling. Like, him and his friend were like wrestling each other, but like laughing. I'm like, are you guys like tickling each other? Like, this is weird. And then they're with our daughter and locked her in a dog cage
and taped the cage shut, and then put soap on the tape. I'm like, what the hell? What is all over this tape?
I would imagine the only reason for that is to kind of make it slippery so she can't take it off.
I don't know.
You know something bad is going on when your son comes out and goes, "Hey, Dad, where's the duct tape?"
And we're like, no, you're not getting duct tape. There's absolutely no reason for you to have duct tape.
He's not the hardest of workers when it comes to finding things. So we knew, I was like, well, I know exactly where it is in the garage in a certain shelf. There's no way he's going to find it because the kid will look for something for about 10 seconds before giving up.
He was yelling across the house last week, oh, Mom, where's my shirt? And I was getting ready, so I didn't hear him. His shirt was literally the first thing you saw on the foot of his bed.
Yeah.
And his room's not huge, so
no.
It was right there.
It's like one of those things, like you ever go to the pantry and like know what you're looking for, like maybe the refrigerator, you're looking for the ketchup bottle. It's like right in front of you. You know it's there. It's like, I just used it.
For sure. I actually think of you because we have a storage closet at work in the hospital, and if a patient's looking for toothpaste or some random thing, I go in there and get it for them, but I don't go in there super often. I'm not a nurse, so I feel like you. I'm like, I will find this stuff in toothpaste.
Like, I know it's here. There's no doubt about it.
My eyes are like left to right.
You're doing like alphabetical order.
Like a book.
Yeah. You're like, nope. But then you're like, wait, maybe it looks differently than what my brain's expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our son. He's a good kid. He's a good kid, loving kid. Just gets in a little hijinks that kind of...
Oh, he's a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly. And then dog sitting, that is a good time so far.
We have 4 dogs in the house right now.
Mm-hmm. We have to be quiet for the youngest dog. He, if he hears you at all, he starts barking and wants to come out.
So we're like, should we make coffee this morning or not?
Yeah.
We're like, we're having coffee.
We're having coffee. Bo be damned.
Bo be damned. This is called Crime and Coffee, and we cannot do the podcast without the coffee.
Right. We'll start to get the shakes, and then it just won't sound good overall.
And I think Mike got about 3.5 hours of sleep last night.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, right now, it was a nap, really, is what I'm considering it. In my
long
brain.
nap, I'd say.
It was a long nap. And you know what? Because I want to bring the best for our listeners out there. We appreciate all the downloads. We're almost at 500.
That's awesome.
Pretty damn good.
It's appreciated.
I mean, in 2 weeks, that's pretty good.
And we are kind of switching things up because we're away next weekend. So we had to just shift our dates. So Mike's came a little early, Mike's podcast.
Oh, right.
And so he had to kind of pull an all-nighter for this.
Yeah.
Lord knows I'm already prepared for next week, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
Well, you're one of those people that gets shit done. You know?
I was like the nerd in school with multiple colors of pens taking notes. That was me.
And had your project done like 3 days in advance.
Yeah. I'm not a last-minute person. That gives me anxiety.
My projects, no doubt, were done the night before with like seconds to spare, without a doubt.
We met in high school. So, we were juniors in high school and we met. And we would be talking at work, and I'd ask you about whatever you were doing with school. And I remember you said, oh, yeah, blah, 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 it's due. And it was a big project. And I was like, wait, when? So I had you come to my house, and I helped you with actually a lot because remember you would have to write stories or something, and you gave no detail whatsoever.
Yeah, in my brain, it just didn't make sense. Like my teachers would always ask more detail. But I knew it was happening in my brain. I just didn't put it on the paper.
Well, so I'm a reader. And remember I said to you, you have to let me walk into the room with you and picture what this room around me looks like.
Strangely enough, you were the best teacher I ever had out of all the freaking teachers I had. Maybe they said it, and maybe it was just I wasn't interested in what they had to say because I wasn't interested in getting in their pants like I was yours.
Right. Or maybe I was shaking your shoulders as I said it to you.
Yeah.
More detail.
Or maybe massaging my shoulders.
Perhaps.
Who knows what
Of course,
happens.
back then we were young and had no children and had a vivancy to ourselves. Is that a word, vivancy?
Now it is.
It is now.
Yeah, they're going to pick it up at Webster's.
Now we're
Is Webster
beaten
still
down.
a dictionary? Is that even a thing?
It is.
Are they out of business because of it being a dictionary?
They're online.
Kind of like phone books and such. You're like, we don't really need them.
No, certainly not.
No. But yeah, that was, I'm a last minute guy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, ready to get into this guy?
Ready.
Okay. So I am, being a huge true crime person like you are, I'm just getting into the genre. I would imagine you're familiar with this story at the very least.
But think about how many stories there are.
Well, you said you listened to My Favorite Murder and Crime Junkie. No, you don't listen?
Yeah, I listen to Crime Junkie. I listen to Morbid. I listen to Dateline. I listen to Sword and Scale. I listen to all of them, and I listen to them like all day. Like that's what I listen to in my drive to work. When I'm charting at work, I listen to them. But you can't cover everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you listen to every single episode of every single podcast, it'd be thousands of hours.
Well, think about Dateline 2020. I mean, those are shows that are on constantly, and they're still not covering everything.
Right. Well, every day there's new things going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In every city.
Right. Exactly. So this one's interesting. Like I think I'm gonna kind of, my focus is gonna be more on the weird ones, like really kind of like bizarre. So like this one bizarre. This one jumped out to me as being bizarre, just completely weird.
Oh, and I did want to comment really quickly because obviously last week we will have played the one I presented, which was the Sylvia Likens story. Mm-hmm. And that was a very, very heavy one. So I kind of thought after the fact, I was like, man, I hope that wasn't like too much of a downer. I mean, I was freaking crying.
Well, nice thing about podcast world, I was definitely, you give your all to everything and you were crying horribly. If you haven't listened to that
I
one,
know, I'm kind of
back.
embarrassed.
No, it's good. It's good to be vulnerable.
But I'm a mother and a human being. And what happened to that girl was just so beyond my imagination that a person could do that to somebody. So anyway, I just wanted to put it out there that I'm kind of embarrassed that my emotions got the best of me.
Don't be.
I was actually watching Sex and the City. I rewatch that show every so often, and they were talking about girls who cry at work and that it's not a good thing, because you want to present yourself professionally. And I guess in a way I kind of thought that maybe I wasn't professional enough, but
you know what? We're not professional right now. This is a side thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're not getting paid for anything. I mean, this is us just talking about a murder that hit you in the heart, and maybe if a news reporter would cry once in a while, it'd be even better.
That's what I thought of too. I was like, news reporters don't cry.
Well, yeah, they're the most static and plastic, not people, but just how the
they
genre.
Have to be.
Yeah, that's expected of them. So that whole profession is static and plastic. Whereas, I like the guys that are like, do the variety pieces. They're like, hey, it's me here out today at this location. Like we've got a guy, Charlie Belcher in Tampa, that he does the interesting stuff. Like I can tell, like I kind of know the guy. I can kind of feel his personality. Whereas the anchors, you don't really know them.
No, you don't know them at all because they're all just putting a face on.
Which they want that. They don't want to be part of anything. They want to deliver the news.
Yeah, and I get that too, but it is kind of funny that we don't want to be like human emotional people on the news.
Right.
And I get it. They have to deliver the news and you can't get emotional. It's kind of like a doctor. You can't cry over every patient that's diagnosed with cancer or that dies. Otherwise, you'd be a weeping mess all day.
Sure. And then you eventually get desensitized to a lot of the stuff.
You have to survive.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's also times are changing. Like news reporters came from like when TV started, in the 50s or whatever, 60s, 50s, 40s. I don't know when TV.
I was not yet born, so I'm just going to blame it on that.
Yeah. So anyways, there was a different expectation then. You couldn't talk about being pregnant. You couldn't talk about, other things, just a lot of very, and that really hasn't changed in a long time.
No, it really hasn't.
So, whereas now we're getting kind of more into people being people. Like it's just, even in my career, it's more like people talking to people in sales. Like I'm in the sales career. And instead of like selling, it's more about finding out of people's problems and how I can solve them instead of my product. So it's just, it's a different.
And really quickly too, we do have a doctor that found out that this woman was dying and she had no family to come and be with her. So this doctor stopped what she was doing doing in her busy day and came to the bedside of this patient's room for about 45 minutes and held her hand while she passed away.
That's awesome.
I was so moved by that. It actually did bring tears to my eyes, although I am an easy crier.
It's like one of those things you want to tell somebody about, like a CEO or whatever. But doctors really have nobody above themselves because they are their own CEOs.
Yeah, but they deserve credit for that.
But at the same time, you're like, wait, if I tell the CEO that they were sitting there and not doing rounds,
I think the CEO would be okay with that as a
right.
compassionate human being.
You would assume that they're
an end of life care.
Yes, you would assume that they are. So that's nice. That's kind of a nice little story.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, but back to murder. I mean, let's get back
murder
to
and mayhem and mystery.
Exactly. So this guy's name was Robert Wone.
Wone, like W-O-N?
So it's W-O-N-E.
Okay, Wone.
Yep, and he was an Asian American. So the way it sounds on the news reports, it's almost like Wong, but without the G.
Got it.
So Wone.
That's what I got from you, yeah.
Yep. So Robert Wone was the oldest of 3 children from his parents William and Amy. He was born on June 1st, 1971, in Brooklyn, New York, and he was a 4th generation Chinese American. His great-grandparents came over to New York from China in the 1930s.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he was known as a nice guy, smart, very kind. So kind he occasionally did things like sneaking out of his college dorm room at night and clean bird shit off of statues.
Jeez.
Or like put change into people's parking meters, like just random people that he saw, just strangers, so they wouldn't get a parking ticket.
That's somebody that I always think, imagine if we had more people like that in the world. What an amazing place this would be.
If everybody was like that.
If everybody.
It'd be freaking awesome, man. It'd be like everybody would be walking around just whistling and,
the majority of people are kind of self-serving and selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's above and beyond cleaning bird crap. Especially the highlight there is that he was a college student.
I know you expect like partying and getting wasted. And
yes. Not thinking, oh, this statue's looking a little, dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. So and there was a reason that he did those things here. I'm going to talk about it in a second. But so he was an awesome student, really bright future ahead of him. He went to the College of William and Mary in Virginia, which is a good college. I've heard of it. I always think it's funny because it's called the College of William and Mary. It's like, who were William and Mary? I don't know.
I don't know, but apparently they were worth naming a college for.
Right. And he worked as a top aide to the president of the university. So he quickly made friends that were similar to him. Bright, good students, had a good future ahead of them, surrounding himself with success. Success begets success, basically.
And what do they say? You're a product of like the 4 or 5 people you hang around with?
Yeah, you're an average of like the 5 closest friends that you have.
I believe that.
I believe it too. So it's like if you look at your friends and like half of them you think are losers, well, there's a good chance you might be a loser too.
Well, and it depends too in your stage in life. Those are things you learn. Like when I was in high school, I had some people in my group that were just not nice. Like one actually like drove me to anorexia. It at least encouraged it. I can't put the blame on her. It was on me. But I remember one day I was dating you. I was about 18 and I looked at her and I'm like, why am I friends with this girl?
That's the mature thing to do.
And that took time to just say, like, I said to her, I can't have you in my life anymore.
Well, when I was young, I never stopped and thought, oh, what are my friends making me right now?
No,
you look
but
back
like if they're bringing you down in, life.
Yeah. And it's like I could have cut off some relationships earlier than I did.
Yeah. But that's a learning.
Exactly. So it was at the College of William and Mary that he met Joseph Price, a guy that we'll talk about later. So remember that name.
Joseph Price.
Yeah.
Got it. Joey P.
You're not going to forget it by the time we're done with this. So Joseph Price was a hotshot future lawyer. He was a person that Robert partnered up with to bring back the 13 Club at school. So there was a club that was around called the 13 Club, kind of went defunct, and they brought it back. What the 13 Club did, they did secret acts of kindness, like the ones mentioned earlier.
Wow, what a cool club.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice guys and wanted to do good for the community and kind of organize that whole thing. So Robert graduated with a bachelor's degree in 1996, and then he went on to get his law degree from the University of Pennsylvania in 1999. So Pennsylvania, big time Ivy League school.
Nice in the 90s.
Yep. So as you can imagine, he landed a job with a big time law firm called Covington and Burling, and he was a rising star in the Asian American legal community.
Where was this law firm?
I don't know.
Because I know you said he was from Brooklyn, so I wondered if he went back to New York.
He will Yes. So he went to New York, and then he ended up going towards Washington, D.C.
Got it.
Yeah. So he ended up meeting his wife at a legal conference in 2002. Her name was Kathy Yu. Kathy was the daughter of Korean immigrants, and she grew up in Chicago.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of like we
My
did.
kind of town.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm not a professional singer.
That's okay. It's beautiful. You want to go on?
No, I'm good. We don't want to torture the listeners anymore.
So Kathy, as you can imagine, was also set for success, being a great student and also a talented lawyer.
Ah,
Yeah.
I figured as much.
These two are going to be set.
They're a high-powered couple.
You get two A-plus type of professions together. You glue them together. They're going to be a power couple.
And then they're going to have kids, and they're going to be super smart, hopefully.
Right.
You never know if the power of two powerful parents will crush you.
Well, the odds are that it's going to be pretty good for them. Things are going to be pretty good. So after they met at this conference, Kathy and Robert started dating and got pretty serious pretty quickly. Robert ended up proposing to her within a year. Yep, she moved in to be with him near Washington, D.C., in the city of Oakton, Virginia. So, like in D.C., a lot of people live outside of D.C. because, just Virginia, like everything's super expensive there. And even 2 hours out, things are expensive because you're close to D.C.
Crazy.
There's all this money between lobbyists and all these obvious, governmental type people and all that stuff.
It's got to be hard to be a young person wanting to get in, when you can't afford.
Oh, absolutely. It's, imagine the interns and stuff.
Right. I guess you have to commute, right? Take a train or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of young, you see a lot of younger like representatives being elected and stuff. Like they can't afford to live there until they start getting their paychecks.
Unless mommy and daddy have a fat bank account.
Right, which a lot of them do.
Yeah.
So, and then they're donors that are super rich and all
Wouldn't that
stuff.
be nice?
Yeah. So anyways, she moved to Oakton, Virginia to be with Robert, and they were married in 2003.
Aw, a year after us.
Mm-hmm. By all counts, they had a happy and loving marriage.
That's nice.
Yeah. So things are going pretty good. By the time 2006 rolled around, as you can imagine, they were successful. Everything was pointed in the Wone direction. I always think of The Simpsons, where Milhouse is like, everything's coming up Milhouse. Everything's coming up Wone at this point. They're both in awesome careers they love. They had plenty of friends that were very successful and caring, and everything was firing on all cylinders, really, until...
No. Well, we're talking about the story, so I didn't think it was going to end very well.
Right. That's not a big surprise, but this is where things go a little bit wrong.
Is it still 2006?
Yes. So things did not turn out all roses for the Wones. Early summer 2006, so I'll get into a more specific date, but early summer 2006, Robert Wone wasn't really happy being a successful lawyer at this law firm. So I guess he really didn't feel like fulfilled in himself, and he wanted to do something better, like just like something that would affect his community more, his Asian American community. He felt like he had the power to do stuff, and he just wasn't.
So I get that. Especially, he seems like the kind of guy that does want to make a better difference.
Yeah, and could be successful and has some pull, and can really end up making a difference, like you said. So he was kind of at a crossroads, and he wanted to do something important, like I said, for his Asian community. So. Have you ever sat at your desk and asked yourself, everybody has this question, am I happy?
Yeah, of course.
Am I truly happy?
I mean, isn't that really one of the most important things at the end of your life to think, did I live a happy and fulfilling life?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Now, the downside, a lot of us don't have the advantage of, having a dual lawyer income.
Sure. So. I mean, some of us are just on survival mode and wanting to pay the bills, and you really don't have the luxury of evaluating your happiness.
Yeah. And you can sit and think this would make me happier, but maybe it wouldn't bring in as much money. Or, I'd love to live in Hawaii for a year, but I've got a wife and kids, and they're going to school, and there's a lot of things that change. So, but anyways, good for him. Robert told his wife Kathy that he was going to apply to be the general counsel for Radio Free Asia.
Oh.
So Radio Free Asia, according to Wikipedia, is a U.S. government-funded non-profit news service that broadcasts radio programs and publishes online news and information to its audiences in Asia.
Okay.
So
they're broadcasting to Asia.
Right. Yep, different countries in Asia.
Okay.
So they provide independent reporting, and they provide accurate and uncensored reporting to countries in Asia that have poor media environments and limited protections from the freedom of press and freedom of speech. So
basically keeping them educated as to what's going on in the world.
Yeah, or in Asia.
So is it specific to Asia or
For the most part.
world news?
No, because their governments, kind of keep a lot of things away from them.
Okay, and I'm surprised their government is allowing this to be broadcast
Right.
in certain areas.
Well, they probably find secret ways to get to it, through different VPNs and such. If you want to know really, because like North Korea, for instance.
Sure. Well, that's actually what I was thinking of, obviously.
Yep. So they have a section for North Korea and China and, and any communist type place that is going to try to suppress information.
Right.
So that's where this comes through. He wants to help other people out there know the real shit that's going on.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool stuff. So if he got this job at Radio Free Asia, it would mean a big decrease in salary. So working for a nonprofit versus a big shot law firm, you can imagine.
Right.
You're going to take quite a hit.
Got to evaluate, what you're willing to sacrifice.
Yep. So luckily, Kathy had a successful career at a health care consulting firm. It made enough to cover both of them.
Good job, Kathy.
Yeah. So they'd be fine. And she was fully supportive. She's
Girl
like,
power.
yep. She's like, go for it.
What a good wife.
Yep. So Robert went through the interview process and obviously got the job. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing this up. I was like,
That would be, and he was turned down for the job and went back to being a lawyer.
Yeah.
The end.
So anyways.
All right. Well, that wraps up this week's Crime and Coffee. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he got the job, and by early August, so it would, between early summer and then by August, he had a couple months under his belt. He was getting to know people, getting to know how things worked at the new gig. So he started to get the hang of things in general. So here we are on August 2nd
Okay.
of 2006.
2006.
Yep. So there's some legal seminar at night, a continuing education seminar that Robert wanted to attend. And he planned to go visit the late shift at Radio Free Asia to introduce himself there. So his idea was to go first to this seminar, then go pop in on Radio Free Asia, be like, hey, I'm your lawyer, for Radio Free Asia. Nice to meet you guys. How's it going? Because it's radio all day long.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's a 24/7 operation?
Yeah. So he wanted to go in and introduce himself, shake some hands and
That
stuff.
makes sense.
So he talked it over with his wife, Kathy, and they both agreed it would make sense for him to spend the night in Washington, D.C., so he didn't have to make the trip home to Oakton, Virginia.
Yep.
So I looked it up, and right now the train is about 40 minutes from
Okay.
D.C. to Virginia, but I'd imagine, during rush hour and stuff, well, obviously rush hour is different, but this would be late. But, by the time he gets out of the seminar, it's like 9:30, and maybe for safety purposes or something, once it gets like midnight, you don't want to be a super high-priced lawyer on the train.
Or in general, it's probably not the best.
Right.
Now, the trains in Chicago, like the Metro line, they don't run all night, right?
No, at some point they cut off.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a limitation of how many trains went out, and maybe the last one went out a certain time. I don't know.
Regardless, it makes sense to just stay the night.
Correct. So anyways, let's see. So it just so happened that Robert's good friend lived in downtown Washington, D.C.
Okay.
A person that Kathy knows very well from their college days.
It's not Joseph Price.
It's Joseph Price.
Joey P.
Yeah, Joey P. lives down in Washington, D.C.
Okay,
DC.
so
Yeah.
he's going to maybe catch a room there with Joey.
Yep. So as you might remember, Joe and Robert met at William and Mary. Joe graduated in 2003 and then went on to get his law degree from the University of Virginia. So he was also very active in the gay community at school,
Okay.
being a gay man, and which you just learned now. And after graduating from the University of Virginia, he became the president of the Gay and Lesbian Alumni Association. So by 2006, Joe was a partner at a national law firm called Arendt Fox. I think it's Arendt Fox. And things were also going well for Joe.
Okay.
Okay. So,
And you said he knew Kathy too?
Yep.
Okay.
Because Kathy and Robert met in school, and Robert and Joe were pretty close.
Got it.
So, yeah. So not only was his professional life going well, but his personal life was not too shabby either. He was in a long-term relationship with a guy named Victor Zaborski, who was a senior marketing manager for Milk PEP, which means Milk Processors Education Program. And they were the people that came up with that Got Milk program with the milk mustache.
Yep.
And all that.
That was actually being pushed on our university campus.
Yes.
We were taking milk mustache pictures on campus.
Yeah.
And that was in the 90s.
We still have them.
Yes, we do.
Mine was with John Elway, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Well, not really John Elway. Like
This
a
picture.
paper cutout. Yeah. Or I remember you with John Elway.
Yeah. I don't even
you
know
probably don't
who
know who
John Elway is. I'm like, I know I was standing next to a paper cutout of,
Yes.
was it a football player?
Football player, quarterback.
Okay.
Now he's the GM of the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and he had a part in that whole program. So he ended up actually winning an award for it.
Really?
Yeah, like with his whole team and everything. So it's not like, he was the main guy or anything. But, I mean, this is the example of successful people they're hanging out with. These
Right.
Big shots, basically. So Joe and Victor, his partner, were fathers to 2 sons whom they fathered with a lesbian couple. And they seemed to be a big deal in the gay community at the time in D.C., well known and respected. And by 2004, they brought another dude with them into the relationship.
There's a threesome?
Yeah, polyamorous. So,
But the 2 are married, correct?
Yes. Well, together, I don't know if they're married or not.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you said they were married or not.
Did I?
I don't know. You said he was in a relationship.
Long-term relationship. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe they were married.
Got it.
I could be wrong. So
they bring in a third party?
Yes. So his name is Dylan Ward. Dylan had a sexual relationship with Joe.
Okay, but not Victor?
Correct.
Interesting.
Yep.
They say that 3s are very hard to keep happy, like even if you're a group of girlfriends, whatever, because there's always the risk of the one being left out.
Right. Human jealousy.
In this case, I mean, it's especially interesting because the sexual relationship is only between 2.
Right. Yeah.
So Joseph's kind of being left out.
Joe. No, Joe.
I mean, not Victor.
Victor.
Victor's being left out.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, whatever works.
Yeah, exactly. So Dylan, a little bit different than everybody else. He graduated from Georgetown, jumped between careers. There's times where he was like a massage therapist, and other times he was a culinary student, and just kind of trying to look for stuff, and probably normally successful by regular people's standards,
but not compared to these guys.
Right, exactly. Not a 5-star lawyer and all that stuff. The 3 of them moved into a nice $1.2 million townhome off of DuPont Circle.
Well, it helps too. They've got 3 incomes.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, bring you on.
Yeah.
A little less mortgage. You can cover part of the electricity bill.
Exactly.
You got the cable. All right. All right, Ward. Dylan Ward. So DuPont Circle is popular in D.C. because of the, according to Wikipedia, the nightclubs, bars, cafes, art galleries, and shops. There's like a nice stretch where it's owned all by gay people. So gay business owners that, they support them. And, probably... just a nice little area. So just generally very nice, expensive town.
Yeah. If you're right there in the action, I would imagine.
Yeah. So Joe, Victor, and Dylan describe themselves as family. And everyone kind of looked at Joe as the head of the family.
Okay.
So they all know Robert and Kathy well. In fact, 3 of them hosted Robert Wone's 30th birthday party in 2004 at their house. Okay. Joe and Victor went to Wone's wedding in 2003. Because obviously Joe went to college with Robert. And, since they were good friends, it makes sense they would go to their wedding a year after they met. So when Robert talked to Kathy about staying at Joe's townhouse for the night on August 2nd, 2006, it made sense, and Kathy wasn't worried.
Of course not.
Yeah.
That'd be something you would say to me in passing. I'd be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stay at Jonesy's house. Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
Right. So Jones is my good buddy. So, the morning of that day, August 2nd, 2006, the Wones started their day as they normally did. They went to the gym together near their home in Oakton. They rode the bus together into Washington, D.C. Or actually, it was the metro, so it probably was the train.
Okay.
So they said goodbye to each other with a kiss. So cute.
Very normal couple.
Yep.
Sounds like a lot like us.
Yeah, it does. Actually, they reminded me of us.
Yeah.
And they headed their separate ways. They also had a cute little thing where they emailed each other as soon as they sat down at their desks.
So they know they're safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So they did that and both said, hey, I'm at my desk. Have a great day. Love you, whatever.
That's sweet.
Yep. So after work, Robert got himself a sandwich. Man after my own heart.
Oh, you love your sandwiches.
Yep, sure do. My favorite thing in the world. Any form of sandwich. So whether it's a burrito, taco, sandwich, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it.
You're in.
Yep. So he headed over to the legal seminar that I mentioned earlier. It was, like I said, around 9:30. So the seminar ended around 9:30 p.m.
Because then he wants to go over and meet the night crew.
Exactly. So he called Kathy when he got in the cab to head back to the Radio Free Asia office to meet the night shift folks. He told her after he was done, he would get to a cab and go to Joe's townhouse and then go to bed. So this would be the last time Kathy would ever hear his voice.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. Sad. So at 12:06 a.m., Kathy got a horrible call, the one you never want to get. It was Joe Price. He said, Kathy, I can't believe I'm calling you about this. Go over to the George Washington Hospital right now. Robert has been stabbed in the back.
Jesus.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Poor thing.
Yep. So Kathy, understandably freaking out, calls her in-laws, who just happen to have moved to the area recently from Brooklyn, to be closer to them. Robert's younger brother was also in town, so she called him and got the whole gang together, and they all drove together to the hospital and expected to find Robert in critical condition, laying there, but by the time they got there, he was dead.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Horrible
Going to a
situation.
seminar and going to meet the night shift. You expect to come home the next day. No, your husband's dead in the hospital.
Yeah, pretty sad stuff. So they found out Robert died from stabs to his chest and stomach, unfortunately. Notice anything weird about that at all?
Well, you said he was stabbed in the back.
Yeah. Joe called her and said he was stabbed in the back.
That's the opposite side of your body.
Correct. So weird right away.
But then again, in chaos, you play the game of telephone.
Right, exactly what I was planning on saying. One of your good friends gets stabbed. I mean, who knows? You got stabbed, and maybe it's just a reaction in the back or whatever.
Well, and I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get really distressing news, I kind of shut down mentally.
Yeah.
So who knows?
But Kathy noted this. She was like, weird. He said back. But anyways, like, whatever. My husband's dead.
Regardless, he's dead. Yeah. Yes.
So unfortunately, this would be the first of many things that didn't quite make sense. This whole fucking thing is just weird and bizarre. Just keeps popping in my head. It sucks so bad.
And when a 32-year-old man is just having a normal night doing things, you want to know, well, what the hell happened? You want the story.
Yeah. If you really, really want to know the story, then I have a story for you. So
I'm on board.
Yeah. So let's see here. So 11:49 on that night, August 2nd, 2006, a 911 call was made into the Washington, D.C. 911 dispatch. It was Victor Zaborski.
Okay, so the third party of the trio.
Yeah. So I'm going to play it for you here.
Okay.
DC Emergency 911 Operator 6752. Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
Immediately. We need an ambulance.
What's wrong, ma'am?
We had someone that was in our house, evidently, and they stabbed somebody.
Okay, somebody's inside the house now?
I don't know. We heard.
Are they bleeding? You see someone bleeding?
Someone is bleeding in our house.
Okay, where's they bleeding from?
I think in the stomach.
In the stomach? Is he cautious? Calm down for me. I'm going to send some help, okay? Female or male?
It's a male. He's a friend of ours. He was spending the night with us.
Okay, and who was the person that stabbed him? Do you know? Is he conscious?
We need an ambulance.
Ma'am, listen to me.
He's not conscious.
He's not conscious at all?
No. We need someone right now.
Is he breathing? Listen to me. Calm down. I'm going to help you, okay? Is he breathing?
I'm upstairs, and he's downstairs. I don't know.
Okay, who's downstairs with him?
My partner is downstairs with him right now. He told me to go upstairs and call the police immediately. I just went to the stairs.
Okay, who's the person? Okay, I'm sending paramedics and the police. Okay, who's the person that stabbed him?
I don't know. We think it's somebody with an intruder in the house. We heard the chime at the door.
And it's 15, ma'am, calm down. 1509 Swan Street, Northwest. Am I correct?
Yes, it is.
The person that stabbed him, is he still in the home?
I don't know.
We got help en route, okay?
Pardon me?
We have help en route.
Thank you. They're here.
They are en route to you now. I'm sending the police and the paramedics, okay, to assist. Okay, what I need you to do is go downstairs, okay? The place wherever he was stabbed at, I need you to get a dry cloth, okay? And just apply pressure to that area. If he was wherever he was stabbed at on his body, I need you to take a towel downstairs while you're waiting for the paramedics to arrive and just apply pressure. Even if the rag or towel is saturated with blood, just get another towel and put it on top, but never lift the first towel off the area. Hold it on. Once it gets filled up with blood, just put another towel on top of that and just apply pressure until the paramedics arrive. Yes.
On the leg.
Yeah.
We're stabbed in the heart.
In the heart?
Yes. In the center of his chest.
Okay. Is he breathing?
Is he breathing?
We have help en route now, okay? You don't know who it was?
No idea. So Don't touch this, like,
Okay, is he breathing?
he's breathing, but he needs help now.
Okay, we have help en route, ma'am, okay? We do have help en route. Okay, just go down there and try to tell your husband or your the other half to just try to keep him calm and talk to him, okay? Keep him calm and talk to him until someone gets there.
Okay.
And at the same time, get a dry cloth and just hold it right there in the area.
My partner's holding the...
Okay.
Holding it on him.
Okay, and once it gets saturated with blood, tell him get another one. Go get another towel so you can apply it on top of that one once it gets filled up with blood. We need you to apply pressure on that area.
He is applying pressure right now.
Okay, just hold it there until the paramedics get there. They should be pulling up any moment if they're already en route to your location. You don't know who did this.
We have no idea who did this.
Is the door open so they can get in?
We don't know how they got in.
Okay, well, I'm asking you now, is the door open so the paramedics can get in once they get here?
What? Sorry. What were you saying?
Is the door open so they can get in? Is the door open so the paramedics can get in the home?
I'm going to go down.
Is this a private home or apartment?
It's a home.
It's a home. It's 1509 Swan Street, Northwest.
The person had one of our knives.
The person that stabbed him ran out the door with a knife?
I think...
Okay, anybody get any type of description of the person that came in the
We
home?
have no idea. We have no description. We heard the chime, and we heard the scream from our friend.
Okay.
And so we came running downstairs. We ran in.
So you both was upstairs and your friend was downstairs?
Yes.
You heard the door open and then you heard the scream?
I didn't hear the door open until after the scream, and then we ran down the stairs and we heard we have an alarm, and so the chime went off.
Okay.
Is the ambulance? Please, we really need the ambulance.
Okay, they en route now, ma'am. Go to the door. They should be pulling up any moment. Okay.
I'm afraid to go downstairs.
Okay. The person who's downstairs was the person that was assaulted.
No, we're on the second floor.
Okay, so somebody need to go downstairs and open the door for the paramedics. You're not sure if that person's still in the home or
I
not.
have no idea.
Okay, we have paramedics en route, okay?
What time is it?
What time is it at the moment?
Yes.
23:54. It's 11:54, ma'am.
54.
Yes.
I mean,
I'll stay on the line with you. I will stay on the line until somebody gets here, okay? I won't hang up.
we need them right now. I'm not hanging up, but we need help now.
Okay, they en route, ma'am. They are en route. Let me know when you hear the paramedics. Can you look out the window and see if you hear them coming?
I'm looking out the window and I see nothing. I see nobody.
Okay, it seems like forever, but they are en route, ma'am. They're coming.
Here they are. Here they are.
They're there.
I'm going downstairs.
Okay. I'll stay on the line with you till you open the door for the paramedics, okay?
Help us. We have someone was stabbed. They're on our second floor. What is this?
Ma'am?
No, it's really an emergency. I mean, he maybe... Please hurry.
Ma'am, it's going to be okay.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple things about this 911 call. First, it sounds like the dispatcher's calling Victor ma'am.
That's like the first thing. And every time she said ma'am, I was like, ooh.
Cringe, like, which I get it. It's an easy mistake to make. You know?
Sure. Of course.
I just thought it was kind of adorable. But so at one point, Victor says Robert was stabbed in the stomach and heart. So I went through kind of the transcript of the 911 call. You can't pick up a lot of it, but after this is like my fourth or fifth time listening to it, I can hear like everything now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you know, he did say Robert was stabbed in the stomach and heart.
I did hear that.
Okay. So you also have better ears than me. Less rock concerts. So yeah, the 911 dispatcher, they're trained in various situations. So
of course.
Immediately she says, okay, put a towel, apply pressure. Do not take that towel off.
Even if
Just-
it becomes saturated, just
Right.
keep putting pressure, put a fresh one on.
Yep, you heard that whole part. So she's in her training knows that any kind of stabbing to that central area is going to cause tremendous amounts of blood. Of
course.
So she's advising the right thing to do, apparently, which I didn't even know that till this. But don't take the first one off. Keep on applying. And hopefully I'll never be in that situation. I have to worry about that. But so you can hear Victor directing someone to apply pressure to the wound.
Yes. It was very quiet in the house.
Yeah. Very good. Good pickup there.
Like, it didn't sound like people were frantic and chaotic.
Right.
It was like almost like they were trying, like this morning when we were brewing coffee and trying to be quiet in the house.
Yeah.
That's how they were talking.
Right.
Like, did you put cream in my coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't want
It
to
was-
rustle the neighbors or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the fact that they don't even know if this other person's in the house that potentially stabbed him.
Exactly. Like it's a 3-floor townhouse.
I gathered that from what he was saying.
Yep. So he was up on the 3rd floor making the call. Robert's body was on the 2nd floor.
And he had to go down to the first to let the paramedics in.
Exactly.
So that was the thing too, that he did establish that he wasn't sure who did it and if they were still in the home.
Yeah.
But yet it seemed very
Like they weren't worried about people.
not worried.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
I might have seen somebody I did. Yeah.
But I guess they always say that in moments of panic and chaos, you don't ever know how the person's going to react. Mm-hmm. So,
I know I would be good in that situation. Like I just know it. I know.
we know how I would be.
Yeah, you'd be a mess. Useless. Like, which it's better to be like you, very useful in all aspects of regular life, and then not useful in chaotic situations. I'm very little use regular life.
No, you're
and then
not.
in chaotic situations, I turn it up.
Yeah,
So,
and I might be fine. I don't like to think I'd be a unhelpful mess.
I picture me taking the whole family on my back, and the plane's going down. Get on
Including
Dad's
me.
back. Yeah,
I'm on the back,
like,
too.
Shut up! Slap you in the face. Be like, stop it! Yeah. So. And there's a bunch of weird things going on in this 911 call. Like you said, it was quiet. Victor was acting like weird around whether the intruder came into the house or not, or if they saw the intruder, if they saw them with a knife. At one point, I think he left with the knife.
It's like, but why do you say that?
Yeah, you didn't see him, but you think he left with a like. Why the fuck would you say he left with the knife?
Why wouldn't you think he was hiding in the study right now or whatever?
Right. We could be down there. Like, what's going on here? So you wouldn't say whether anyone was there or if he saw anything, or it just really wasn't clear. Obviously, if you found your dear friend stabbed, you're going to be out of sorts and not thinking clearly. So let's chalk it up to that. That's always possible. It's just really interesting how things sounded. So the paramedics got to the scene, as you heard, at around 11:54. About 5 minutes after Victor made the initial call, which is super quick. And it's
I
amazing
liked
how
that
fast.
the 911 dispatcher kept assuring him that help was on the way, because in some 911 calls I hear, they're asking the person a million questions, but not establishing, while we're talking, is help coming?
Right.
So that always gets interrupted. Like, I need help. Please send help. Please send help. And they're like, she kept reinforcing, while we're talking, paramedics and police are on the way.
Yeah, she did an awesome job.
She was wonderful.
Like, great dispatcher. But yeah, so anyways, when the paramedics finally came, Victor was out on the porch in a white terry cloth bathrobe when he saw the paramedics.
Okay.
So rushed out there, like, oh my gosh, come in. You heard him crying and everything. The 2 paramedics that showed up, between them had 25 years of experience.
Oh, wow.
So their experience, knew what to expect. Like, they were good people for the job. They said the first thing they realized when they stepped into the house, things were off. So just like you said, like, you're really good at picking up on stuff. Like,
Well, thank you. My biggest thing was, I'm not saying how Victor presented the information or anything like that. It was more about the quietness of the house that got me.
yeah, they said usually when they arrive to a scene of a stabbing, people are going haywire.
Screaming.
Yeah, like, please help us. Like, just, I don't know what happened. Like, blabbering and yelling and pulling them towards the victim.
Sure.
And saying, just try and give details and, get people coming at them from different directions and whatever. They got here, it was like a library, basically.
I was actually going to say that, a library.
Yeah, like, besides Victor, everything was totally fine, like normal, like a normal day going on in this house.
I don't know who was applying the pressure and at Robert's side, because obviously there was both Joseph and what's the other guy's name?
Dylan.
Dylan were, I assume...
His last name is Dylan. Let me find it here.
I don't think his last name is Dylan. I think his first name is Dylan.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Dylan Ward.
Yeah. So I assume both Dylan and Joseph were at Robert's side during this?
Joseph.
Okay, so just Joseph. We don't know where Dylan is.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just surprised at how quiet Joseph was, but maybe, he's focused and just trying to apply the pressure. I don't know.
Yep. Nope. So Joe's the guy next to him, taking care of things. And yeah, you're right. It's completely odd.
I'm curious to know what the paramedics saw when they got to the second floor and Robert was on the ground.
Yep. So as the paramedics made their way up to the stairs to get to the victim, they found Dylan Ward coming out of a hallway bathroom on the second floor.
Dylan was there.
Yes.
Okay.
He was there.
Maybe he had to take a quick pee.
Yeah, maybe, sure. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, well, before the paramedics get here, let me drain the lizard and go about my day. But he came out of the shower and was wearing a robe.
The shower.
Yes.
He's showering while there's a man stabbed on his floor.
Yeah.
Interesting time to take a shower.
Kinda
and what
weird.
are you showering off your body? Mm-hmm. That is glaring.
Yeah.
Nobody, unless he was in the shower when it happened.
Right. Which makes, sure.
And that's possible.
Yeah. They're just gathering all the information they can at this point.
Now, if he got in the shower after Robert was stabbed, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, so the paramedics questioned him about, hey, what's going on here? Everything's okay? Like, just, hey, what happened? What happened? Tell us. And so he ignores them, goes into his bedroom, and shuts the door.
What? That's...
Fucked up, right? So this is creepy movie like type of stuff.
Can you imagine what the paramedics are thinking?
Well, I imagine him looking at them kind of like head to the side a little bit and like smiling like and then just like, wouldn't you like to know? And then goes into his room and scatters.
Now, are paramedics trained to gather this information for police?
I'm sure after years, like maybe not specifically. I'm sure they are a little bit because they're the first ones on the scene before the police. So yeah anything they can get, and gather, and they work hand in hand with police. So especially these guys have been there, through 25 years. They know what the police are looking for. Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay.
So while it's not their job, they know what the police will be asking.
But just taking advantage of being the first on the scene and seeing what they saw.
Correct. So the paramedics went down the hall to the guest room where they found 32-year-old Robert Wone lying on a pull-out sofa bed that was probably made for him to spend the night on.
Sure.
The thing is, nobody was holding a towel to his wounds to stop the bleeding.
Okay, well, that in itself is... But again, if these guys did this, why aren't they trying to act more like normal? Pretend to hold the towel.
Well, yeah, right. Well, I guess at this point, they'd be like, well, it probably would have stopped bleeding by now. So
the 911 dispatcher reinforced that point about 7 times.
Yeah, right. It's another weird thing. Pretty much everything that I'm going to say is weird and off. Everything. Absolutely everything. So, like you said, this is after they said apply pressure to the wound, and he's been stabbed, and they're just sitting there kind of like, yeah. Oh,
so
well,
I wonder what was Joseph just standing there?
Joe was in the room with Robert, and when the paramedics asked him what happened, Joe replied only that he heard a scream. He didn't even look at him. He just goes, I heard a scream, and is just kind of looking off into space.
God.
So he's sitting next to Robert, his body. The paramedics later noted they were so creeped out by the scene that they looked at Joe to see if they could find the murder weapon in his hand.
Right.
Like it looked like he was basically just killed him and was sitting there staring
like
at
they're
him.
assuming this is the guy.
Correct.
And who knows what Mr. Showerman is doing.
Yeah. So around them, they're in danger, basically.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, too. Are they in fear that they're going to get stabbed?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, talk about a dangerous job.
Right.
That's, you're in this...
Where are the police en route? They're still coming?
They're very, very close.
Okay, because that's all I'm thinking in my head is these paramedics are like, get here.
Yeah, so they made sure as they tended to Robert that they could see Joe.
Yeah, watch him.
Yeah, so they positioned themselves in a certain way.
Smart.
Away from him, not with their back towards him, just kind of looking. And, to keep an eye on him in case he did anything crazy.
Yeah.
So Robert was lying there with his head on the pillow and his hands down at his sides, still with his anti-grinding mouth guard in that he used at night.
So he was in bed ready to sleep, if not sleeping.
Looking like, he's sleeping.
Yeah.
Basically sleeping. He was wearing a gray William and Mary t-shirt and was stabbed 3 times in the front of his torso through his shirt. One of the paramedics described the heart wound as gaping. Oh. So big that you could put a finger into it.
Oh, my God.
So, pretty bad. They also found what they presumed to be the murder weapon on the bedside table, with a smearing of blood on the blade.
We assumed that the guy left, because that's what Victor said.
Exactly. So now it's like, wait, you saw him leave it? He left with a knife? Now you're probably like, I'm thinking, wait, they were probably on the phone and be like, no, you didn't leave with the knife. The knife's here or something, you know, and then you hear
Right.
them get all agitated or something like that.
And then Dylan's like, I'm going to take a shower.
You've had enough of this. I'm going in the shower.
You've upset me.
I'm going to put on my terry cloth robe.
And then not speak to the paramedics when they come in.
Yes, I'll show them. So, yeah, they got the knife sitting there, and the blood's on the blade. Like, not necessarily on the cutting part, but on the blade.
On the blade itself, not the whole shaft.
Yeah, not
of
the cutting
knife.
edge. Yeah.
Not the blade, you said.
Yeah, so like if you take a knife and kind of turn it to the side, so the flat side's facing you, it was on the flat side,
Okay, interesting.
but not on the cutting side.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was wiped.
Yeah. Exactly. Wow, you're good.
I'm like a detective.
You are. So they checked.
Nancy friggin' Drew.
That's how I think of you, especially in the bedroom. You're looking for something.
I was trying to take a drink of my damn coffee,
Sorry.
Mike.
So they checked Robert's vitals, and he had no pulse. Unfortunately, they knew he'd been dead for a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
Well, what's the point of holding a towel to somebody whose heart's not pumping?
Right. They're like, oh, no, he's not bleeding.
We don't see any blood coming out.
Yeah, totally fine.
Well, in the scene, what they're describing, there's a chime, there's a scream. That person's not dead for a while.
Right.
That person expired while you were on the phone. That would be what happened if you're hearing a scream. Robert is the one that screamed, correct?
Right. You would think. Right.
Who screamed?
I don't know.
You heard the chime. If there's an intruder, the chime is corresponding with their in and out.
They said it was like a low level scream, like a, like not like, wah! It was more like, So
Things aren't adding up here.
Yep, not at all, and it just gets worse. So the EKG flatlined. Obviously, they took him to the hospital where he was officially pronounced dead at 12:25 a.m. So Robert Wone had come over to the townhouse that night at 10:30 p.m.
Okay, so really, and the 911 call was placed at what, 11:45?
Yeah,
And what time did you say he came?
10:30,
So he had only been there a little over an hour.
and by 12:25 a.m. he was dead.
He's pronounced dead at the
Yes.
hospital.
Yeah, exactly. So between 10:30 and 12:25, certain things happened.
Yes.
And they're going to try to fill in this timeline. There weren't a lot of answers at this point, but there were a hell of a lot more questions.
Yeah. Where were you in the house when he came over? What did he do? He clearly got ready for bed. His mouth guard was in. He was in sleeping clothes.
Correct. So obviously they're going to question these three guys that were in this house. This is their primary objective.
Yes.
Be like, what the hell happened? Get them separated, get their stories, try to figure out where the cracks are.
Yes.
Okay.
And hope they give different versions to catch them.
Right. And being trained, you usually try to get that.
Yeah, of course.
So police arrived on the scene before Robert's body was taken to the hospital. They noted that the guest room was neat and tidy and no signs of any kind of struggle.
Well, he could have been sleeping when this happened.
Well, even if he was sleeping, you would be stabbed and be like, what the like shift,
Yeah, you
Some
would
kind
shift.
of like move your head, just imagine being stabbed in the
I
chest.
guess it's really hard to say if you're like in a sleep and you're confused.
And for a person to stab you 3 times, it'd have to be over you and ruffling up the bed. Like the pillow was perfect.
Yeah, that
Perfect.
doesn't make sense.
Like it was laid down like Snow White kind of thing.
Undisturbed.
That's correct. That's the scene basically. So it didn't happen in this bed basically.
So
Or maybe
you're
it did. I don't
assuming
know.
he was potentially placed in the bed after having been stabbed. Where is there blood all over the bed?
No. Yeah. So there's some other details coming
But then
out.
again, the blood would have to be somewhere in the apartment showing that he'd been moved.
Yeah, it would. So, so you're exactly right. Nothing was knocked over. No signs of a struggle. Nothing. Robert's clothes were folded at the foot of his bed, waiting for him to slide them on the next morning.
I love Robert.
Yeah, he's kind of seems similar to you.
Yes, very tidy,
Organized. Yeah.
Poor man.
Yeah. There was Robert's BlackBerry. So at the time, the BlackBerry was a big deal, for business people, and his Movado watch.
Aw.
Nice Movado watch. So this told the police that if whatever person was trying to rob him, they did a horrible job.
They didn't take anything.
Right. There was basically tried to kill him and leave.
Well, and also, I don't know. This whole thing just doesn't make sense. Granted, it could have been a random burglary in the night and they don't know that this is a guest room or whatever, but they didn't take anything.
Yeah. Robert's pillow only had one indentation. Like he just put his head down and hadn't moved all night, like I said. I mean, it's just odd to me, like some kind of thrashing, some kind of struggle.
Unless they stabbed him straight in the heart and he just basically
But even then, your body would be alive for a couple
Yeah.
seconds. You'd be like, ugh, yeah, big, something.
Yeah.
Like some kind of crazy thing. There was, like I said, a light blood smear. Oh, no, this is different. So there was a light blood smear almost wiped across the skin of his abdomen, kind of like on purpose. Like somebody meant to put it there to be found. Besides that, Robert had no blood on his body.
Which makes no sense. You would think blood would be spewing and saturating his shirt.
You're exactly right.
His Mary College or William and Mary College shirt would be saturated.
Right. Exactly. From experience, police know they'd have a bloodbath, basically.
So is his shirt completely soaked and drenched in blood?
No.
What the fuck?
Right. So, after being stabbed twice in the stomach and once in the chest, that thing would be saturated. There'd be blood all over the bed. It'd be onto the floor, unless they were blotting it, which there was no evidence that they did.
Now, the T-shirt he's wearing, does it have the stab marks in it to correspond with where he was stabbed?
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah. Yep, exactly where he was stabbed.
And it's not... I'd love to see a picture of this T-shirt.
Yeah, I didn't see one.
I mean, I would think the front of it would just be soaked.
Yep. Another point, like I mentioned, there's almost no blood on the bed either.
It doesn't make sense.
So the sheet was folded down like how, you at a hotel where they do nighttime service.
Sure.
Kind of ready for him.
Ready to get in.
Yep. Robert was close to completely clean. Police noted it looked like Robert had been showered, redressed, and placed in the bed.
That's what I don't get.
Yeah. Crazy. So police confirmed the knife on the bedside table came from a knife block in the kitchen.
Okay.
But they didn't think it was the murder weapon. And I'll tell you why. The blade was a lot longer than what the entries wounds in Robert's chest were telling them. So it was a 5.5-inch whooshed off blade. Whooshed off's a good knife company. Yeah. The wounds were about 4 inches.
Okay.
So while it's possible that everyone, as they stabbed them, they'd kind of just held back an inch of the knife. In all their experience, anytime somebody's stabbed multiple times, the whole knife goes in, and usually, so they're expecting at least 5.5 inches of plunges on at least one of the stabs,
Right.
Most of the stabs, but they don't have that.
So what in the hell is this knife doing sitting at the bedside?
Right. So, I mean, you have to think they look for a similar size knife and put it there, Also, no blood on the cutting edge of the knife.
Which doesn't make sense because that would be the area that would have the blood.
Yep. And none of the t-shirts on the knife, t-shirt fibers on the knife.
Well, and that's just the thing. The t-shirt would have to be saturated, so it almost tells me that he was stabbed and then placed in this shirt.
Right. But the wounds are exactly where the shirt is. So he was in the shirt when he got stabbed.
He was already dead then.
Maybe.
Because then the blood wouldn't be pumping.
Right. And unless something happened before that.
Maybe. I don't know. You'll have to tell me because...
Mm-hmm. So they had a blood splatter person look over the knife and everything. And yeah, so they're the only fibers found on the knife were a white kind of fiber.
That they maybe used to wipe.
Yep, similar to a towel. Pretty clear this wasn't the knife used to stab him.
Okay.
What was really interesting, though, after tearing apart the whole place a couple weeks after the incident, police found a cutlery set in Dylan Ward's room. And he was a former culinary student, like I mentioned. But it was missing one knife.
Was it 4.5 inches?
I was going to say, any idea how long the knife was?
Yeah.
4.5-inch knife. He had like a set of 3 knives. It was like a knife, a serving spoon, and something else. Like it was pretty specific. And a 4.5-inch knife from that set was gone. And they never found that knife. Ever. So that was a big piece of evidence that could have really moved things around. All they need is a tiny little piece of that DNA on there, and then they got them, right? But knife is gone.
Knife is gone.
Police also found a white towel on the floor by the bed, and the towel had 3 bloodstains on it. The 3 men said they used that towel to put pressure on Robert's wounds. So the stains only measured about 2.5 by 3 inches.
Well, and like the lady on the phone said, if it's saturated, just place a clean one atop it. Like you would assume it's going to be saturated. Oh no, there's just a couple of blood spots.
Right. So the blood splatter analyst person looked at this and he was like, "There's no way this was used for a wound. Like no possible way." He said he actually said it looked like as if someone took the knife with blood on it, put it on the towel, squeezed both sides, and wiped the blade clean.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it looked like to him. It wasn't, in his opinion, even close to being used to stop someone's bleeding.
And that would show, too, that the knife had the towel fibers on it.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it did. They put it under a microscope. It had the towel fibers, but not the gray William and Mary
Not
t-shirt.
the T-shirt.
Yep. None of it made sense. The stories they got from Ward, Price, and Zaborski did not match anything that they found on the scene. It was like, no, this is impossible. What you're telling me is impossible.
Right.
So now where are we at?
So what did happen?
Yes. They took them all to the police station to be interviewed separately. They all had the same story.
So they had time to match their
Corroborate,
stories.
and yep, exactly. They grilled these guys for 8 to 12 hours. And here's the story they gave them. Okay. So Robert Wone came over to the Price Zaborski Ward home around 10:30 via taxi. At the time, Victor Zaborski had just returned home from a business trip, and he was already upstairs in bed watching Project Runway. So Ward and Price said they stood in the kitchen with Wone, drank some water, and chatted for a few minutes before they showered, or before they showed Wone to his guest room.
Okay.
Not showering right just yet. Price said when he went to the third floor master bedroom that he shared with Zaborski, he was ready for bed, and they just went to bed. Ward,
So Joseph and Victor are on the third floor, basically going to bed.
yep,
Okay.
going to bed for the night. Ward said he went to his bedroom on the second floor shortly after Price left them and went to bed as well. He read for about 5 minutes, then took a sleeping pill and went to bed.
But yet he's found coming out of the shower when the paramedics are coming.
Right. So maybe he said because of the sleeping pill that's...
He needed to wake up.
Yeah, or he didn't even know where he was. Like, that's a really easy thing to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure if he's trying to think of ways around it, be like, I just tell him to
I don't know, because I took the Ambien and I was sleeping.
I was a zombie.
I was a zombie.
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, easy.
Yes, super easy. He said he heard Juan take a shower in the hallway bathroom, and then he heard the guest room door close and latch.
Okay.
So he's like, yep, I heard it. So they've got Juan in his room, basically.
Mm-hmm.
After everyone went to sleep, Price and Zaborski said they were woken up by the sound of a door chime. So obviously, if you've ever been in a house with a security system, people open the door, ding ding, or ching ching, chung, the whatever chime it is.
makes.
Yeah, whatever chime. You're used to those.
I like that you just keep trying to give us a chime.
Yeah, I'm trying to do like a bring, like that. That's
okay.
That's the one.
So we heard a bring.
I wanted to get it out of my head.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for letting me. So that's what I pictured. They told police they weren't concerned because they figured it was just their fourth roommate, Sarah, returning home for the night.
Oh, there's a fourth roommate.
I was like, what the fuck?
Who the hell's Sarah?
Nobody talks about this chick. So I don't, she must have been in and out. Like I looked into her a little bit, but I was so into the other side of the story.
And who knows, maybe she just was renting some random fifth room in this multi-million-dollar townhouse.
Well, multi-million in DC isn't very big.
Yeah, so who knows?
So, yeah. So then they heard some low grunts or screams. And Price and Zaborski said they jumped out of bed, ran down to the second floor where they found Juan's guest room door open and him lying on the bed bleeding from stab wounds.
But not bleeding much, though, because his shirt wasn't saturated.
Right. Hey, they can't control it. They didn't stab him. They just found him stabbed.
They also didn't put pressure on it.
Yeah. Apparently they did. So
there were 2 spots on a towel.
Yeah, so they did it. They soaked it up. They said neither of them heard another door chime or heard anything or anyone running down the stairs.
Okay, so all is pretty quiet except for the things you just described.
Yep. Price told Zaborski to go upstairs to dial 911, and he knelt beside Juan and tried to stop the bleeding while Zaborski went to call 911. He told police he found the murder weapon lying on Juan's stomach and picked it up and placed it on the side table.
Okay, the one that's been wiped.
Yeah, almost like, okay, let's go.
And the one that didn't match the stab wounds.
Yeah, let's go stamp his stomach here and then put it next to him, basically. Oddly, Price told police they might find his DNA on the knife because he moved it. So they're like, hey, just so you know, like you probably see my DNA somewhere, but you might not find this real killer's DNA because he probably used gloves.
Oh.
So, okay, that's an instant red flag. Anytime you're lying, you give too many details.
Exactly.
And that's too many details. It's like, what? Like, police know to look for these things, buddy. Like,
of
okay.
Course.
And obviously you can, whatever. Maybe he just slipped out. Who knows? But right there, it's a lot of unnecessary detail. So good chance something's up here. I mean, good chance this whole thing, something's up, basically. Price told police he didn't see Ward until after he had sent Zaborski upstairs to call 911.
Okay, so Victor since ran upstairs, and now he's seeing Dylan.
Yes, correct. Zaborski's story supported this by Zaborski saying he didn't see Ward when they initially found Robert, but that he had to come out of his bedroom by the time he came back downstairs on the phone with 911.
Okay.
So the story
when there was low murmurs in the room.
Yeah, a grunt and a scream.
Well, no, when he came on the phone, when he was on the phone with the 911 caller, and there was just like low murmuring.
Yes.
No panic at all in the room.
Put some pressure. Okay. Oh, good. Like it's like a little cut or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay. All three men agreed that an intruder must have come into the house and murdered Wone, and suggested the stabber might have climbed over the security fence behind the house and entered through the back door.
Okay.
Yep. So investigators doubted this theory. For one, they checked out the fence in the back, and the area wasn't really disturbed. There were cobwebs there, dust. Like anybody that would have gone through the whole thing would have
Broken this up.
Yeah, knocked down the cobwebs. You'd see some kind of a footprint or something on the dust. Like nobody jumped that fence, basically. Also, nothing was taken from the house, and they had some really expensive electronic equipment.
Right, and that's just the thing. Oh, okay. They walked in the house. They just stabbed this guy in here and just walked out.
Right. So that's another thing. Third thing, this is really interesting. The intruder would have had to purposely go past Dylan Ward's room on the second floor. Because you go to the second floor, you see his room first.
Right, so why would he bypass that room and go to Richard's room?
Head straight down to the guest room.
Robert. Robert, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So he had to go past Dylan's room, be like, I know Robert's in this guest room. I know he's staying there. I'm going to go kill him.
And that's not normal because he's not normally in this guest room.
Right. Nobody's usually in there.
No.
So meaning, like, he had to know he was there. And the only people that knew Wone was in the house that night was Kathy, Price, Zaborski, and Ward.
Okay. Not even this Lisa chick.
Right. I had no idea. All right. So police brought in cadaver dogs trained to locate evidence of blood in decaying flesh.
Okay.
Other than the small amount of blood on Robert's bed, the other traces of blood were located in the dryer lint trap on the second floor.
Okay, so something was washed and dried.
Yep, next to Dylan Ward's room, and then near an outside drain on the back patio.
Okay.
So
would that be associated with the washing machine?
No.
Or the shower even?
It'd be somebody like washing their hands, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So maybe someone washed the blood off of themselves on the patio and then dried their clothes on the second floor.
Okay.
So there was some cleaning going on.
Well, and Dylan was cleaning himself.
Yep. And also they have this chemical where you can kind of spray and find little trace pieces of like blood.
Luminol?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So you probably know all about it. So unfortunately they applied the stuff like incorrectly and like way too much of it and didn't follow the directions. So they pretty much ruined the scene. So they
because there was obviously a lot of blood somewhere.
Probably in that room is what they're guessing. Like, and they said it was cleaned, like very, very clean.
But they didn't have much time.
Right.
Because, in total, he wasn't there very long.
Right. Like you picture like a Dexter murder scene where, he hangs up all these things and whatever. Who the fuck knows like what really it was, but the timeline doesn't make sense.
No, but also what I don't get is where is the blood though? Other than this towel that's got a couple spots, where is the blood?
Right. Yeah. So we'll get into some ideas. According to a quote from the official documents, by all accounts, quote, by all accounts and evidence, Price, Zaborski, and Ward have a very close relationship and clearly have the motive to preserve and protect the interests of one another. Mm-hmm. So
they're partners. They're living together. They want to protect each other.
Basically saying these fuckers are lying.
To protect somebody, if not all of them.
Each other. Yeah. And they're very strong in their relationship.
And they're not cracking.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to be the one to accuse, but I mean, I don't know how far you can go in a podcast to say things. I mean, these people are alive and well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's if somebody's going to hop in a car and come.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about like lawsuits or something.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's basically what the police are saying, right? Allegedly, and all this stuff. Okay, so each of these men gave police information about their relationship to each other and the living situation within 1509 Swan Street. Zaborski told investigators that he and Price had been in a committed relationship for many years and that they brought Dylan into the relationship about 4 years earlier. Dylan was in a sexual relationship with Joe Price, but not with Zaborski. Like I mentioned.
And obviously he has his own room. The other two are sharing the room.
Yeah.
So they're like kind of the main couple, and then Dylan is the side guy.
Yeah, he'll come in once in a while and do his stuff. This got a lot of media attention for good reason. Police found various items related to BDSM sex play in Dylan's room.
Okay.
So
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, he got into some kinky sex stuff, which is probably what Joe was looking for, and whatever, including shackles, gags, restraints, and a host of other toys. The men explained that Dylan and Joe were in a dominant, submissive sexual relationship, in which Dylan was the dominant, or dom, and Joe was a submissive.
Got it.
So this, as you can imagine, in 2006, like where the gay lifestyle isn't completely accepted. Like, I mean, things have changed quite a bit. I mean, not even now. There's still a struggle, but like you mentioned, are they married? I think it was just a domestic partnership. I don't think it was allowed to be married.
Okay.
So, the news just loved this. They ate it up right away, and everybody's like, "Oh man, they had some kinky gay sex ring."
And who even gives a shit what's going on with them as a relationship? Like, the biggest thing here is what the hell happened with Robert.
Well, that's where a lot of people are trying to say, did Robert have a part in this relationship?
Yeah, right. Robert is a guest for the night.
Right. And
like, it's a place to sleep.
Like, can you not come over to somebody's house and spend the night and not get into a kinky sex thing?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And
I mean, who knows? It doesn't sound like that. Robert sounds like he's happily married to Kathy and needed a place to stay after his conference and checking out the night crew at the job.
And police went really deep into Robert's sexuality and stuff. Everybody, even these three guys, were like, no, we didn't. It wasn't like that. He was as straight as the day is long.
Yeah.
There was that was said. He was a great husband. He was straight. He was not into our relationship. We had no interest in him. I was not in a loving sexual relationship with him at all.
And it's just a random night that he was spending the night there. It's not that he was there frequently.
Well, police went into the gay community too to see if they can get somebody to crack about Robert Wone. Were you with him?
Did you see him around?
Yeah, at a gay club or something.
Okay.
Nothing. They got nothing. So Robert, by all accounts, was not here for a sexual thing.
He was there for a bed to sleep in, which it looked like he was ready to do with his mouth guard in.
Right. Yeah. You think of that, poor guy.
I know. He was ready for friggin' sleep. And then the next day he was going to go back home and be with his wife.
Another thing, you just think of all the good things he could have done.
Absolutely. A good person in the world.
Yeah.
That's going to sleep in someone's house for the night and is friggin' stabbed.
Right. He had bigger aspirations. He wanted to get information of the people that didn't have it.
Yeah.
I didn't know him, but he just sounded like a decent dude.
I saw his picture too, and he looks exactly
sweet.
like he sounds.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like a good guy.
Yep. So this is also fucking crazy. I didn't even know this existed, but they found a device commonly referred to as a milking machine, designed to be placed on a man's penis and force him to ejaculate.
Huh. Never heard. I think of a breast pump.
Yeah. Via electrodes or something.
Interesting. So it's electrode pads you put on there?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I don't want that in my Google history.
I
in
just
case
pictured
I come up dead.
the breast pump going and pulling the penis into it.
That's pretty much what it is. But with electricity to kind of stimulate things to make you shoot your load.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I ordered one just for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
Next week we'll report back.
Okay.
And we'll let you know. This became significant to the police's theory about what happened.
Okay.
Because I'm about to tell you another twist here. So it's so interesting and so horrible. It defies logic. There's no logic here. The thing is just so fucked up. Okay. So after the autopsy of Robert Wone's body came back, you'll hear. So that's where I'm going into now. So Dr. Lois Goslanowski, I don't know how to say her last name, but Dr. Lois autopsied Robert Wone's body the day after he was stabbed on August 3rd. She found 3 symmetrical stab wounds in Robert's torso and found a broken blood vessel in his eye, indicating that he had been smothered in addition to being stabbed.
Okay.
So she determined...
Maybe that's why he was so still.
Yeah. But still, if you're smothered, you're going to be...
fighting.
Shaking.
Yeah, that's stupid of me to say.
No, it's not. I thought the exact same thing. I went through the exact same process. I was like, oh... yeah, he just got suffocated.
But he's going to fight.
Yeah, you would have more on your pillow than one little thing.
Yeah.
Unless
there were 3 men involved in holding him down. And
then there'd be a struggle in the room.
Yeah.
There'd be signs of something. Something. Skin or whatever. I don't know. And the bed would be tossed.
Sure,
Who knows?
Of course. Not just peacefully turned down with a flat pillow.
Yep. She determined all the stab wounds had been made with the same roughly 4.5-inch blade. And, she didn't know anything about the scene. Mm-hmm. So, and the wound was between 4 and 5 inches deep. So it effectively removed the possibility that the knife found at the scene was the murder weapon.
Okay.
So through expert analysis, every expert would agree
this was not the knife.
That was not the weapon.
But we have a missing knife that does match that in Dylan's room.
Correct. In addition to the knife wounds, the doctor found several other strange things in Robert's body. She noticed several needle marks on his neck, right foot, and left hand.
Obviously, they did a toxicology report.
Yes. But I found out toxicology reports are so hard because they're not like a one-size-fits-all. You have to specifically test for every drug that you go for.
One would assume he would have been injected with something that sedated him.
Yes, but you have to check every sedative. Mm-hmm. So, and you only have so much blood. You can't use all of his blood.
Right.
So I read about that and I looked into that too. There's an awesome article on the Washington Post that goes into a lot of stuff. It's like from the old web almost. It's like from the 1990s. It looks like, even though it's 2006. Like Washington Post still has it out there. I have it in my sources. I recommend reading it.
But he has multiple injection site marks.
Correct. So she ran like I said, a routine drug scan, all of which came back negative. They did mention, like, did you test for this? She's like, we could only test for, it's not like a thing that can go on forever.
Right.
Like, we have to make our best guess.
You're basically picking numbers out of a hat and testing those things.
She tested for like GHB, liquid G, and all these other things, possibilities that normally is what it is.
Well, that's the thing. You have to pick like the typical culprits.
Correct. And then, they had to put his body in, I think he went to ashes. They said it wasn't available or whatever. So, but yeah, everything came back negative. Unfortunately, she did not test for any paralytic agents, and none of Robert Wone's blood was preserved prior to his or after his burial. Yeah, prior to his burial. Oh, so he was buried. So none of it was preserved for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So, looking into it, it didn't sound like either they covered their tracks or it didn't sound like they did anything bad. Like It was like, or not bad, but just forgetful.
Right.
Like they seemed to do everything they could have to try to identify it. There was no indication Robert put up any kind of struggle in the autopsy. Any and all defensive wounds were completely absent from his arms. So,
hence the reason why it would make sense if he was injected with like a paralytic or something.
Yep, something to slow down his blood, something to just kind of put him out completely. What's that thing that Michael Jackson died from?
Propofol.
Mm-hmm. So, might be. I don't even know how any of these drugs work, so I'm no expert.
Propofol is a sedative. But where in the hell would a person just obtain propofol? It's
these guys are,
high powered.
DC. There's freaking
that's
drugs.
true. You slip a little bit of money to someone, and
any community that you're in a community, there all the good people. You also know all the bad people.
Yeah,
that are not necessarily bad, but maybe they're very rich and they get into all sorts of crazy drugs. That's out there.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, if they wanted cocaine, they could find it within 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cocaine's no big deal. But, I mean, even, you go down...
Cocaine is child's play to compare to, like, some sort of...
Correct.
But
But those contacts have contacts for other things.
I get it.
And in the gay community, a lot of going out and having fun and, clubs and things of that nature. And I'm sure they had some good contacts, right? So, who knows? She also performed this one. This is the big thing. She performed a rape kit on his body, swabbing his anus, the inside of his penis, his rectum, and his mouth.
You said anus, and then you said rectum.
Well, I like the outside, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And then the inside.
Okay, I'm picturing the same area.
I'll bring up like a picture of a body.
No, I know how the body works.
Okay, so the lab...
You were being a little redundant there.
Sorry, I just kind of took exactly. I agree with you. The lab found semen present in each cavity.
Oh my God.
But strangely, so there was some semen in every place they checked, but all of the DNA belonged to Robert Wone.
What?
Everything they found in his anus and penis was his own semen.
Well, I mean, how does his own semen go into his anus?
Great question. So that's why that milking device.
Oh, yes.
So this milking device is made almost like from what I gather, I could be wrong, but they said it's specifically made for like getting someone almost paralyzed, or if they're completely unable to ejaculate, you put it on them and it'll make them ejaculate.
For whatever reason, why you would
whatever
want
you're
to do
into,
that.
Yeah, whatever you're into. This device was made for that. So, then maybe the semen was taken and rubbed or whatever.
But why though?
I don't know. No, we don't know. Unfortunately, there's no, they won't talk. So,
but everything happened so fast.
Yes.
I mean, he wasn't there for a long time.
No. How do you have time? None of this makes sense.
Hey, Robert, you're here. Okay, good. Let's knock you out here. Let's get this milking device hooked up to you. Oh, let's take your semen and put it in your anus. It just sounds like a lot happened in a very short period of time.
Agreed. Based on the doctor's findings and limited evidence collected at the scene, police think that Robert Wone was attacked, incapacitated with some sort of paralytic agent.
Hence the injection sites.
Yep. Sexually assaulted.
Jesus.
And stabbed to death on the night of August 2nd.
And then, you think to yourself, like, you're making this huge murder scene in your own home. How do you expect this to end?
Yeah.
And especially in their community, they would have had many of willing people to, like, I'm sure get involved in any kind of weird stuff. Like, what would be the point of killing this man?
Yeah. There's no
That's
reason.
what I don't get. Like, they're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah. And, this is what police are thinking, too. Like, what is the motive?
Yeah. What's the motive, and what did you expect the end game to be?
Yeah.
And you're friends with these people.
So something had to have, it probably wasn't planned to kill him, I would imagine. Obviously. So something.
But a lot happened. So it's like it was almost planned in a sense of like what was going to happen when. It's not like, oh, go quick, let's inject him real quick and then hook up this milking device.
Yeah.
And then, it's like it almost had to be like previously planned so that they
Right.
knew what they were going to do.
By the killer. And, yeah, for sure.
And they didn't have to call right then and there. They called shortly after.
To have the paralytic agent on hand, like it was probably, yeah, you're right. It's
Exactly. Unless that's something that I don't know if it's used in kinky situations, like I'll paralyze you and then hook this. And maybe that's what the milking device is used for, because if you're paralyzed, you can't get off. I
right.
don't know.
Yes, exactly. Like you can't get an erection and
Like,
all
is
that
this
stuff.
paralytic something that they used in their bag of like kinky tricks?
I'm sure. Like maybe you, like when you tie somebody up or something, you can hook them up to this thing and it'll milk them. I don't know. But like I said, we'll find out next week when we get one.
Wow. I was like, wait, what? What's happening next week?
So, there is one thing that kind of made it a little bit worse, a little bit harder, even harder in the timeline. The police found a gap in the timeline. A neighbor heard a scream come from the house while they were watching the nightly news. They couldn't pinpoint the exact time, but the news was on from 11 to 11:30. So Zaborski didn't place the 911 call until 11:49, meaning there's at least a 19-minute gap between when they discovered the body and when they called the police.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking, that there had to have been a gap because a lot went on.
Right. The problem was police had no concrete evidence to point to who actually committed the crime. And Price, Zaborski, and Ward were no longer cooperating with investigators. They lawyered up, and they were not talking anymore.
Can you imagine what Kathy must be going through? Like, not only was her husband murdered, but these three clearly have something shady going on.
That is a really good segue. So now we're going to talk about Kathy here. Okay. The day after the murder, Price, Zaborski, and Ward, all good friends of Kathy and Robert's, went to Kathy Wan's house to pay their respects to their friend's widow. So they're like, I'm so sorry, whatever. They're there to kind of be friends together and, be with your friends in the time of need. They all grieved together. Kathy had no idea how fishy their stories were, though.
Right. She has no idea. She's not there. She's not part of the investigation. She, being a friend of these people, assumes there was a fourth party that came in and killed him.
Right.
She's assuming these three are her friends.
Yes.
Your friends don't murder your husband.
Right. She doesn't know any of these details, unfortunately. She will eventually, obviously, but this is nuts. Joe Price served as a pallbearer at Robert's funeral. I mean, it's not nuts at the time because
He's playing the part.
he's one of his best friends, and of course you're going to hold his casket.
Sure.
And then frickin', the poor wife, man. I mean, just, after she finds out all this stuff, was like, I don't know.
Something happened.
They know what happened.
Of course they do. They were there and their own devices were being used.
Right.
There's a missing knife from your bedroom.
Yep.
You were right there. Like, what happened?
Just tell us.
And the 19-minute frame of time. Now, is this an apartment where you're attached walls?
Yes.
Because I was going to say he had to have screamed loud that the neighbors heard.
Yes. Yep.
So what went on in those 19 minutes?
Great question. But as more information came to light and became clear the three men weren't telling everything they knew, distance grew between them.
Of course.
Yeah, as you would expect. 2 weeks after the murder, police released a statement saying they believed the crime scene had been altered.
Mm-hmm. Of course it has.
In quotes, technicians were able to determine that the crime scene had been tampered with, including that the area where the victim's body was located had been cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
So, exactly from the document. By the 1-year anniversary, police were still not closer to understanding the crime or learning who killed Robert.
I have a question. You mentioned the cadaver dogs. What did they find?
They found the lint with some blood on it.
Okay.
In the lint thing, and then some blood down outside where somebody probably washed their hands or clothes.
The
or whatever.
cadaver dogs had
Yes.
something to do with that?
Yeah, they found that stuff.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And again, you'd normally spray down the scene and try to find the evidence, some light blue light and everything.
That wasn't done properly.
Correct. They screwed it up. So Kathy Wone and her attorney Eric Holder, who Eric Holder might sound familiar. He worked under Barack Obama. No connections or anything there, but he was an attorney general for the U.S. He worked with Robert at his former law firm and coincidentally later served as, here it is, Barack Obama's attorney general.
Okay.
I was smart enough to put it down in the notes here. They held a press conference to commemorate the anniversary and try to get the investigation moving again.
At the 1 year mark?
Yep. So Holder specifically was talking to the three guys. He goes, quote, "For those in 1509 Swan Street where Robert was killed, you need to truly ask yourselves, truly ask yourselves, have I provided the police with all the information that might be relevant to the investigation of this crime? Only you, your conscience, and your God know the answer to that question.
Yep.
But that is a question you must ask yourselves if you care about Robert, if you truly care about his family, and if you care about Kathy. Come forward and share all the information you have."
They care about themselves more.
Right.
And protecting themselves.
Which is amazing because any type of situation like this you hear elsewhere, somebody sings. One of the songbirds sing. They're somebody cracks.
Somebody cracks.
You'd expect Dylan, just being kind of the extra,
Yeah.
maybe. But I mean, they have a strong relationship. This family, quote. It's amazing. So unfortunately, the tough talk didn't really work.
I didn't think it was going to.
Because it's obviously you feel it's still unsolved, right? By November 2008, D.C. prosecutors had enough. They charged all three men with obstruction of justice because of the cleaning of the scene.
Yeah. I mean, something has to be done.
Yep. 6 days later, on November 25th, Kathy Wone filed a $20 million civil suit alleging that her husband's three friends had done nothing to help him after he had been stabbed and instead spent the last moments of Robert's life covering up a horrible crime.
Oh, exactly. They had to come together. They were quick, though.
17 minutes. I mean,
that's super quick to get your facts straight and not crack and not screw up.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd get a detail wrong, say,
especially you're grilled for like 8 to 12 hours. Like, that part of the process, whether it's fair or not, is to get you
to break.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean,
almost like force you to admit.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. There are many of innocent people that agree that they did something just because they're mentally broken.
Yeah, and that's the downside of it.
Right. It could be used against you, but in this case, these guys clearly had a part in this, and yet they still
at the very least know what happened.
They know what happened at the very least, exactly.
Yeah, which is having a part.
Sure.
At the same time. So the criminal case went to a trial about a year and a half later in the summer of 2010. So this is the criminal case. The obstruction of justice. Even with all the suspicious evidence that brought up against the defendants, Judge Lynn Leibovitz said she didn't believe beyond a reasonable doubt that they had committed obstruction of justice. And I get it. There's no direct link saying that he had the cleaning agents in his room. They didn't get the connection there. It was cleaned. They can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was them. Like, was it? Probably? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But not the justice system is beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's where like 12 Angry Men come in. You ever watch that movie from black and white? It's like where the jurors go into a room and they're like, "Oh, the guy's guilty," but like one juror is like, "No, no, he's not," and I'm going to tell you why. And he flips everybody around. Not to ruin the movie from the 1930s, but I saw it in school. It's one of those things you have to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And they were ultimately acquitted of all charges. In August 2011, Kathy Wone settled her civil suit with the three men for an undisclosed amount. So they just paid her off, basically. She explained her decision to a Washington Post reporter of why she accepted a buyout. She said, quote, "I am moving on. I want to spend the next 40 years of my life focusing on good.
Aww.
They can rot from the inside out.
Yep, they sure can.
With all the secrets they chose to keep.
Oh.
That's their choice. I chose to move on."
Good for you, Kathy. You have to. Otherwise, you're getting nowhere and it's eating you alive. Like, in her heart, she knows they know something. And
what good is it going to do?
They're not cracking. They're not going to tell you. They're going to probably take it to their graves.
Yep. And so good for her.
She has to.
Strong person, man. Strong person.
Well, like she says, she has a good another 40 years ahead of her.
And use it for good.
Yeah.
Rather than these guys that
And Robert would want that for his wife.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yes. Just the limited stuff you know about him. Police don't know for sure who is responsible for the murder, but they do have suspicions. This weird thing came out like years later. Joe Price's brother, Michael. He was known for crimes and kind of just doing little petty things here and there. 3 months after Robert's murder, Joe Price's townhome was burglarized, and they found out that Michael Price was one of the burglars. Burglarizing
Your
his
own brother.
Yeah. The charges were dropped, but police looked into where Michael was the night of the murder. Just
Okay.
out of nowhere, like, okay, let's see what he was up to that night.
Makes sense.
Turned out Michael, who was taking college courses at Montgomery College, missed class that day. Missed a class he scheduled that night of Robert Wone's murder. Acquaintances of the Prices told police that Joseph always tried to help his brother out whenever trouble he was in. So tried to cover up or help out, or maybe whatever he was in. He was used to covering up for him. If Michael had assaulted and killed Robert Wone, they figured Joseph would change the crime scene to keep Michael from going to prison, but no serious evidence supports this theory. Like, this is something I think that just kind of threw him off. Like, it seems like not plausible whatsoever. Like,
Okay.
it's almost like...
So nothing put Michael, that's his name, Michael?
Yep.
Nothing put Michael necessarily at that location that night.
Yeah.
He wasn't at his night class, incidentally, which
Right.
his school was nearby.
Yes.
Okay. But we don't know exactly where he was that night. You didn't
Yeah.
make it to class. Where the hell were you? We don't know.
He's probably robbing something somewhere.
Well,
Who
yeah.
knows? I mean, this is a guy... I'd imagine it wasn't his first class that he missed.
That's what I was guessing.
It's not a huge deal to miss a college class. And I just think it's kind of too far down the rabbit hole. Like, they were looking for some kind of
Yeah.
spark, and they were like, maybe this will lead to something, and I give them credit for looking into it, but that whole thing, it doesn't really have any legs. So this is kind of the end. In my opinion, it seems something is, 100% the three guys in that townhouse know something.
But if it was some stranger that came into the house and stabbed Robert, it wouldn't make sense for them to wipe a knife and to lie. They would say exactly what they saw and when they saw it and how they saw it.
Well, between the 911 call and after questioning, the story changed,
Yeah,
I mean,
and it just doesn't. If they weren't responsible in any way, they would just tell them what happened.
right.
So,
And yeah, right, exactly. And what really happened, because anything they said did happen, is impossible.
right,
Basically.
and that's just the thing. But I still don't understand where the blood is. Like, how he didn't saturate things.
It must have, yeah. I mean, if you go online, there's rabbit holes all over the place. People have been looking into this, especially in Washington, D.C. Like, there's some really powerful people that the Wands most likely knew and probably looked into this. I mean, this was like the gem of one of the cases in the FBI in Washington, D.C., because it happened in their backyard. You want to find these people. You want to outsmart these fuckers who did this, or the person, whoever it might have been. Like, somebody's going to slip somewhere. They checked emails between the roommates about, like, planning something.
But I think they're smart enough not to have email traces.
Yep.
I don't, excuse me, I don't know how long Robert had this overnight thing planned for. Was he given like months notice? Hey guys, this night and blah, 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 August 2nd, whatever date that was, I'm going to be there. Or was it a quick thing? Like, hey guys, in 2 days, can I come stay at your place?
It feels like it's relatively quick. I could not confirm this other part of the story. It's a little tiny piece that I found on Reddit. Somebody said that he had reached out to a female friend first to see if he can spend the night at her house.
Okay.
And these guys weren't his first choice.
Okay. And
The female friend said, no, I can't for whatever reason. He ended up going with these guys. So you got to imagine this woman feels very horrible for saying
Yeah,
no, but
but
you would never know.
you would never know.
Yeah, that's something. So that's even less. Like, it wasn't like he was. That's another support that it wasn't necessarily a sexual thing. Like, it was like, oh, I just need to spend the night in DC.
Yeah. And then the other thing was there any rift between Robert and these guys that would drive them to want to kill him?
Nothing anybody found anywhere between.
There was no
Robert's-
like money that had been lent and wasn't being paid back, or something that would make them want to stab him.
Right. And these guys were well off too. So it wasn't like the money was the thing. Maybe they had huge debts. Who knows? In that situation. But no, none of that was found.
Because that's just the thing. We've had people that's come and stayed at our house. You don't just go into a room and stab somebody for no reason unless you're mentally insane or whatever. Like, I just don't understand, even if they did do it, why?
Yeah. Another weird thing I found in the Washington Post article, there were a couple emails that were unsent on Robert's BlackBerry.
Okay.
One was to his wife saying, I'm going to sleep. Another one was to an associate from Radio Free Asia saying, I'll meet you at lunch tomorrow, confirming a lunch.
Okay.
they looked at it, it looked like it was sent after the time of his death. So somebody probably penned it up, the murderer or whoever it is, whoever was trying to cover things.
But what's the point of that?
I don't know. Unfortunately, they recycled the device before they could look into it further. That was a major flub. So I don't know if there was a ton there. But like everything in this case, like everything could mean something.
Of course.
You know, so before they could look into it further, yeah, the hard drive was gone. There's so many like little pieces here. There's a lot of theories. That the easy theory that somebody that just reads the headline is like, yeah, it was a sexual relationship.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah, if you look into the details, that's not a thing. It just doesn't seem like it.
I just picture like there's many nights, especially when you worked in the city and whatnot, that you were like, oh, I'm staying over the night. Like it could just be something so innocent like that it would, you know, I would know in my heart you weren't sexually involved with anybody that you were staying the night, and it just sounds like he was just wanting a bed to sleep in because he didn't want to have to make the commute home.
I spent the night at Phil's apartment one night.
Yeah.
You know? It was a late night. I'm like, I'm staying here.
And that
I'm like,
makes
okay.
perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's safer.
It's just got to be so hard for Kathy to just have your husband spending the night at a friend's apartment.
Yeah.
Like, how normal is that?
And then you got to deal with all these people thinking that he's like a sexual deviant and stuff.
That sucks.
Yeah. And like you said, whatever sex you're into, as long as it's consensual, more power to you.
Of course.
But yeah, she's got to deal with this. And just knowing that her husband was a nice, sensible, respectable guy in the community. And it's like his name being dragged through the mud. And even though all these guys say no sexual, like nothing, all three of them specifically, like adamant about him not being a sexual partner.
But there's
that
doubt
could be part
there.
of their story too. Who knows?
But it just sucks that she'll never know, you know, what really happened.
I think someday we will. I have a feeling.
I don't know.
Someday. I mean, especially with a lot of podcasts like this, like somebody's given pressure here.
But only they know. That's the thing. Only 3 people or whoever else may or may not have been involved truly know what happened.
But humanity-wise, usually people crack. They can't keep secrets.
Not after this much time.
Yeah. Maybe
we're
someday.
15 years out.
Well, people change. You know, eventually you go to like, you know, you can become a super Christian or something, and like
or be diagnosed with a terminal disease and say, I don't want to take this to my grave.
Yeah, atone for your sins. You know, get it out there. Right. Maybe they get cancer or something, and they're like, before I die, I want the truth to be known.
Yeah, but there's many people too that on the deathbed they still take it with them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess only time will tell.
Yep. All kinds of theories out there, but that was my story. So it was the longest one so far. Yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed it. And you know, poor Robert and you know his widow. You know,
yeah, that's really sad.
Sorry it happened, but thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. We are on Instagram and Twitter under Crime and Coffee 2. Crime and Coffee, the number 2, because somebody took other ones, I guess, but. Hey, we're out there, and we're going to come at you every week. So anything else to add, sweetheart?
Nope.
Okay, well, I love you, and we'll talk to our listeners next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.